"I'm sorry," said Liverpool goalkeeper Loris Karius, his palms humbly held up to the devastated fans in the front row. He begged for forgiveness as tears ran down his cheeks. His career's greatest night had descended into a nightmare. "I know that I messed it up with the 2 mistakes and let you all down. I'd just like to turn back the time, but that's not possible," he subsequently wrote on social media. The Champions League final is professional football's apex. Shine, and your brave actions will be remembered for all time. It's why names like Jerzy Dudek, Jimmy Traore, Vladimir Smicer and Divock Origi have become synonymous with Liverpool. But there's nowhere to hide when things go horribly awry. From the depths of defeat against Real Madrid and Kiev, triumph quickly followed for Jurgen Klopp's side, but it was accomplished without Karius after Liverpool spent £65 million on Alisson less than 2 months later. Over 3 years later, the events of May 26, 2018 continued to characterise the German goalie. Medical examinations in the days that followed revealed that Karius had been concussed when he strangely rolled the ball square to Karim Benzema, who scored the first goal of the night, and then fumbled Bale's long-range strike that made it 3-1. Moments before the Benzema goal, he was hit in the head by a stray elbow from Sergio Ramos at a corner, and the offence went unchecked. "We don't use this as an excuse, we use it as an explanation," asserted Klopp, who promised to assist Karius in resuming his career. However, after more than 1,700 days, there has been no chance of forgiveness. Karius' most recent competitive start for Liverpool was in the Kiev final. There would never be another. Long before Kiev, Karius' Liverpool tenure was anything but smooth. 4 weeks after his move, he fractured his hand after unintentionally punching teammate Dejan Lovren during a pre-season friendly, and the necessary surgery kept him out until the end of September. The timing couldn't have been worse, he acknowledged. When he came in late to succeed Simon Mignolet, he battled to adjust to the pressures and expectations of life at Liverpool. Rather than commanding his penalty box, he propagated doubt. Mignolet was recalled early due to some egregious errors by Karius, most notably a 4-3 defeat away to Bournemouth in early December. The Belgian seized his opportunity and helped Klopp's sides push on to win Champions League qualification, 1 point clear of 5th placed Arsenal. But to his credit, Karius did recover. For the 2017-18 season, Klopp stated that Mignolet would be the Premier League starting goalkeeper, but Karius would open the Champions League matches. It was a solution that neither keeper liked, and there was conflict between them. Klopp ended up abandoning the strategy in January, just before the knockout phase started, and placed all of his trust in Karius. It should not be overlooked that Karius helped Liverpool get to Kiev by starting all 13 Champions League games and preserving 6 clean sheets, but there were warning signs. When the first leg of the semi-final against Roma at Anfield was still goalless, he failed to catch hold of Alexander Kolarov's shot and unconvincingly helped it onto the post. In the crazy second leg, when Liverpool escaped a late fright to go through 7-6 on aggregate, he gave Edin Dzeko a goal that made it 2-2 on the night early in the second half by pushing Stefan El Shaarawy's effort straight out to him. But back to the fallout from the Champions League final. Brain scans revealed that Karius had had visual spatial dysfunction, which can result in a failure to determine where things are. Loris had 26 of 30 markers for a concussion still, Klopp said. That impact had a complete and total effect on him. Ultimately, Liverpool acquired Alisson from Roma for £65 million, and thus lent Karius to Besiktas for a 2-year loan at a fee of £2.25 million. Let's jump ahead to the current day. Karl Darlow, Newcastle's backup goalie, was hurt just before the Premier League transfer window closed. This gave the Tyneside team 48 hours to locate a top-flight goalie, get them unattached from their club, and sign for the Toons before the window closed. That is why Loris Karius, who had been bouncing around unsuccessful and somewhat embarrassing loan deals since we last saw, was plucked from anonymity and brought to Newcastle. "When Newcastle called me, I thought it was a great chance to go back to England and prove myself again," Karius said in December. And now, the German, who was the club's 4th choice goalkeeper for much of the season and has not appeared in a matchday squad since November, is set to make his first Newcastle appearance in the club's biggest match this century. If Karius is chosen ahead of Mark Gillespie to replace the suspended Nick Pope and the cup-tied Martin Dubravka, he will join an exclusive group of Newcastle players to make their Wembley debut. The 29-year-old, whose most recent competitive appearance was for Union Berlin on February 28, 2021, is attempting to not only win Newcastle their first major trophy since 1969 and their first domestic cup since 1955, but also to resurrect his own career, to secure a contract extension on Tyneside, or to prove he is worthy of another opportunity to be number 1 elsewhere. Following Newcastle's defeat to Liverpool, Howe called Karius, who had trained at Benton that morning but was not part of the matchday squad, to check in with him and ensure he was in the proper state for a big week ahead. Howe noticed that Karius, a laid-back figure behind the scenes, was as prepared as he could be. There is a clear absence of competitive match experience among the available alternatives, with Dubravka also unavailable and ironically more likely to earn a winner's medal should Manchester United claim success in London, given that his only 2 outings under Erik ten Hag came in the Carabao Cup. The key issue then is how can Newcastle prepare a goalkeeper, one who is approaching the 2nd anniversary of his most recent competitive game, for a cup final in 8 days. And to make it worse, there are even fewer proper training sessions. Newcastle had planned days off on Sunday and Monday, so Karius' first workouts with his teammates as a first choice keeper did not take place until Tuesday. Instead, Karius spent the first few days of the week in Milan with his partner, Italian TV personality Diletta Leotta. Howe did not press for the scheduled trip to be cancelled because the mantra behind the scenes has been to handle this like any other week. It was decided that the squad would take 2 days off after Liverpool, and changing that would increase his emotional and physical workload even more. Despite having a fearless tattoo on his neck and coaches at mains referring to his mental toughness, Newcastle wants him to not overthink the significance of the event on Sunday. With their number 1 out, the trainers are quickly trying to acquaint Karius with the defence and vice versa. Stylistically, Karius is not as active as Pope when coming off his line. The English goalie tops the Premier League in defensive actions outside his own penalty area with 2.18 per 90 minutes, but the German is ready to roam and is thought to be superior with his feet. Karius is regarded as a strong shot stopper, though not as good as Pope. Newcastle's top leadership team, which includes Byrne, Trippier, Jamal Lascelles, Callum Wilson and Matt Ritchie, has been pleased with Karius' training performance and appears confident he will produce this weekend. They have spoken among themselves, urging calm throughout the team and emphasising that they are still powerful enough as a group to achieve. Ultimately, however, as Howe himself put it, Pope has been an anchor for us, he's excellent, and now it is time for someone else to step up. Is Karius prepared to do so? Nobody in Tyneside can be certain. A strange sequence of events brought Karius to Tyneside in the first place, and then strange conditions conspired to win him a Wembley appearance. Newcastle and Karius both hope that the conclusion of this wild ride is personal salvation.